of the success that came from the PRX, it would be with the Tissot Gentleman. This was a watch that was released a couple years before the PRX, and to this point, I think it now has become one of the most viable options under $1,000, like it was when it was initially unveiled. But despite the success of the PRX, you could make arguments that this is maybe a better all-arounder and doesn't have the same hype, but when looking at the flexibility that this watch can present you on a day-to-day basis, it's very hard to beat. So this came out in 2019, 40mm case, so it's a little bit larger when it comes to the case size, given that it is going to have a large dial opening, so I'd say it wears to the full extent of that diameter. 48.6mm lug to lug, reasonable thickness of 11.6mm. But let's talk about some of the takeaways here that I think are noteworthy with the Gentleman. Number one, 100 meters of water resistance. So you get the everyday viability despite this looking more dress oriented. Also though, maybe the biggest fundamental difference between this watch and many other Tissot watches is that this uses a higher grade of the Powermatic 80 family, the C07.811. What do you get with that? You get a traditional escapement, but also get a silicone balance spring, which you'll see that SI next to the balance assembly when you look at the movement on the backside. Sapphire crystal to go along with these watches. You have several different dial colors to choose from, including a dark blue dial, which is really the hero product from this collection, but then a black dial to go along with it. Then you have a green dial, which also has the inclusion of a crosshair, which is pretty peculiar for this version. And then also the most recent unveiling was the Ice Glacier blue dial with that light blue tone. Another feature I love about this watch are going to be the faceted hour markers. It just looks way more elevated, polished and brushed surfaces. It is going to look of a higher price point than it actually is. Simply put, this is a sensible all-around watch for new watch buyers, but also those that just have a budget under $1,000 that want a go anywhere, do anything type of watch. Now this next piece is the one exception to being over $1,000.